My homage to the Supreme Buddha. The Buddha is my refuge every day. My homage to the Supreme Dhamma. The Dhamma is my refuge every day. My homage to the Supreme Sangha. The Sangha is my refuge every day. My homage to the Triple Gem. The Triple Gem is my refuge every day. Namo Buddhaya. Dear meritorious friends, we have gathered here with an idea to learn the teachings of the Lord Buddha. Lord Buddha is the knower of everything. Lord Buddha is the seer of everything. Lord Buddha understood the whole world without any other's assistant, without any other teacher's help before 2600 years back. And dear meritorious friends, Lord Buddha is the teacher of humans and divine beings. Therefore, dear meritorious friends, as he is the teacher of humans and divines, he taught a lot of teachings with an idea to tell the whole truth about the world. Lord Buddhas are appearing in this world with one idea. Dear meritorious friends, Lord Buddhas are appearing in this world to free the innocent beings from suffering. Normally, when we talk about the suffering, people are telling that the teachings of the Buddha is negative. And the Buddha is talking about suffering only. Actually, that is not the real understanding. Lord Buddha has understood Four Noble Truths without any other support, without an assistant of another teacher. Lord Buddha understood that truth with his own wisdom, without a teacher. So, dear meritorious friends, Lord Buddha, as he knows all beings in this world are suffering. Dear friends, what is suffering? Actually, dear friends, aging brings us suffering. When we become too old, where there is no help, when we have to walk with walking sticks, when the skin becomes wrinkled, when your eyesight is going, when your eyesight is not so good, when you can't hear the voice as usual, when you can't speak properly, when you come to an age like that, that aging brings everybody suffering. And dear meritorious friends, sickness brings us suffering. Everybody is afraid to have sickness because it always brings suffering. And also, dear meritorious friends, death definitely brings us suffering. And also, lamentation, grief, sadness, all these things are bringing us suffering. So Lord Buddha understood that the world and everything is suffering. The people, the beings in the world are suffering. As Lord Buddha knew that there is a cause of suffering, dear meritorious friends, Lord Buddha understood the suffering. We know that is the first noble truth. And then Lord Buddha understood that there is a cause of suffering. Dear meritorious friends, Lord Buddha explains the cause of suffering is the desire arises in our mind. The desire arises in everybody's mind is the cause of suffering. Then Lord Buddha says that is the second noble truth. What is the second noble truth? The second noble truth is the cause of suffering, the origin of suffering. And then, dear meritorious friends, Lord Buddha has understood the cessation of suffering, rooting out of suffering, finishing of suffering. Lord Buddha says, if somebody is able to root out the desire totally, perfectly from his mind, then there is no suffering at all. He has rooted the suffering forever, and that person will have finished the endless journey of cycle of birth, and he won't have another birth. When there is no birth, dear meritorious friends, there is no aging, there is no sickness, there is no death, there is no lamentation, there is no grief, there is no sadness, there is no such kind of sufferings. So, dear meritorious friends, Lord Buddha understood that there is a cessation of suffering. Lord Buddha told it is the third noble truth. And Lord Buddha didn't stop there even. Lord Buddha said, dear meritorious disciples, there is a path leading to the cessation of suffering. By using a method, by using a way, you can finish, you can root out the suffering. Lord Buddha told that is the Noble Eightfold Path. If somebody follows the Noble Eightfold Path, Lord Buddha said, he is able to root out the suffering and he is able to have the supreme liberation. So, dear meritorious friends, we are so fortunate, we are so lucky to have such a great teacher as our leader, as our teacher. Out of compassion, for 45 years, he taught these teachings with an idea to bring the happiness, bring the supreme liberation to the innocent beings who are suffering. Out of compassion, Lord Buddha did all these things as he knew that there is a suffering and he knew there is a cause of suffering and he knew there is a cessation of suffering. And also he knew that there is a path leading to cessation of suffering. So, dear meritorious friends, one day Lord Buddha said like this. Lord Buddha said Dear meritorious disciples, if you are able to root out one thing, if you are able to root out one thing totally, perfectly, I guarantee you non-returning. Dear meritorious friends, what do you mean by non-returning? In Pali, Buddha's language, we say anagami. Anagami means the person develops his mind by following the path leading to the supreme liberation, and because of that he is having only one birth. Furthermore, and he is having a birth in the Brahma world called Suddhavasa. And dear meritorious friends, after the death, after the passing away, he will have the birth in that Brahma world, and he will lead a good life there, and from there, as he is leading the last life, he will have the supreme liberation after the passing away from there. That is why Lord Buddha said, if somebody is able to root out one thing, he guarantees that person will be having that non-returning. Then Lord Buddha asks, dear meritorious friends, dear disciples, what is that one thing? Lord Buddha said, dear disciples, root out the hatred in your mind. Then I guarantee you non-returning. Dear meritorious friends, see the understanding, the glorious wisdom of our teacher. When we talk about today's world, most of the humans, most of the people are suffering from hatred, are suffering from the results which arise because of hatred. When we talk about everyday life, when we talk about our day-to-day life, if we suffer even for a moment, most of the times that is because of hatred arised in our mind. Lord Buddha said, if somebody is able to root out the hatred which is arised in his mind totally, perfectly, then he is able to have the non-returning in this very life itself. So Lord Buddha has taught such a great teaching. That is why I say Lord Buddha is the teacher of humans and divine beings. And also that is why we respect Lord Buddha as the glorious teacher of ours. Lord Buddha knows everything. We don't know anything. That is what we have to practice. When we practice like that, we are able to achieve our target. We are able to go to the target of supreme liberation, because we accept that Lord Buddha knows everything and we don't know anything. Then we feel to follow what the Lord Buddha taught. Then we feel to practice what the Lord Buddha taught us. Then only we can go on the path towards the supreme liberation. Dear meritorious friends, talking about today's world, even for the tomorrow, even for the yesterday, it is well applicable. Lord Buddha's teaching cannot be set aside as it is only for the past. Dear meritorious friends, this is a teaching which is timeless. That means without considering of a time, it can be applied even for the yesterday, even for today, and even for tomorrow. That is because it is the eternal law. It is the ultimate truth in this world. When somebody is under hatred, the suffering automatically, naturally follows him. When somebody is in hatred, definitely the suffering comes after. The suffering comes after him. So, dear meritorious friends, what we have to understand is, as we are the disciples of Lord Buddha, as we are the followers of Lord Buddha, we have to practice what Lord Buddha said. Dear meritorious friends, Lord Buddha said, root out one thing totally, root out one thing perfectly, then I guarantee you none returning. So, dear meritorious friends, if somebody wishes to have the supreme liberation from all these sufferings, then what that person has to do? That person has to practice the teachings of Lord Buddha. So, dear meritorious friends, it's a marvelous achievement. It's a marvelous gaining if somebody can practice the teachings of the Lord Buddha. If somebody can follow the advice of Lord Buddha. Dear meritorious friends, when Lord Buddha is living in Rajagaha, the kingdom of King Bimbisara, those days something terrible happened. There was a monk called Devadatta. He is against Lord Buddha and he wanted to have the supreme Buddhahood, which he is not able to get, but he tried to get by doing a lot of things. To do that, what Devadatta did was, he made a friend. Who is the friend? He thought that after King Bimbisara, King Ajasatta, the Prince Ajasatta, will become the king, and with the help of that king, I will get the supreme Buddhahood. That is what the thought arose in Devadatta's mind. So, with an idea to fulfill his own bad thought, he went to Prince Ajasatta and told, if you be like this, you won't have the kingdom. If you be like this, you won't have the kinghood. If you be like this, you won't be the king of Magadha. You kill your father, then you can be the king. So, dear meritorious friends, by listening to these words, that little Ajasatta, young Ajasatta, who has no good knowledge, who has not wise enough to understand the good and bad, what he did was, with the help of his friendly ministers, he put his father in jail with an idea to kill the father. What happened? The father is now in the jail, and then father is not upset. He is just walking because he is a disciple of Lord Buddha. He has practiced the teachings of the Lord Buddha. He has become a stream entrant, and he knows the ultimate truth of this world. He knows the eye is impermanent, the ear is impermanent, the tongue, the nose, the body and the mind is impermanent. And he knows that he is having only 7 more births, and he knows that nobody can stop his supreme liberation, because now he is on the path which is leading to the supreme liberation. There is no trouble for him, but the wife, the queen of King Bimbisara, was taking food every day to the king. Then King Ajasattha thought, why the father is not dying, because he let the father die without giving anything, without giving food. When he found the reason, father is still alive as the mother is taking food, then Ajasattha stopped mother taking food. Then what happened? Then that lovely wife, the queen of King Bimbisara, is taking food, applying food on her body, which is made as powder, which is made as a cream. She applies all these food in her body and covered with a cloth and goes to the king, and then she let the king to eat those things. Then again after 2-3 weeks, King Ajasattha was looking at, why my father is not dying? Then, dear meritorious friends, he found that as his mother taking food by applying the food as a cream in her body and letting the father to eat, then he realized that this is the reason. And what Ajasattha, King Ajasattha did was, he prohibited the mother to go to the close and let mother see the father by being far away. From that day, dear meritorious friends, King Bimbisara didn't have any food. Then still he is walking. He is doing walking meditation. He is not so sad. With a happy mind, he is walking. Then King Ajasattha thought, the father is not dying like this. What I should do is, I should cut his feet so that he can't walk. He cut the feet and then put salt into those wounds and then asked the father to walk on fire. Still, father is alive. Still, father is happy. Why is that? Because, dear meritorious friends, he is a disciple of Lord Buddha. Though his body is cut, though somebody gives him pain to his body, he knows the reality. He knows that the feeling is impermanent. He knows that the body is impermanent. He knows that the perception, we say sanya, is impermanent. He knows that volition, we say in Pali cetana, is impermanent. And he knows that the consciousness, in Pali we say vijnana, is impermanent. Dear meritorious friends, as he knows the ultimate truth, nobody can make him sad. As he knows that he is on the path which is leading him to the supreme liberation, he is so happy. And he died. And he was reborn in the divine world as Janavasabha. He came to the Buddha one day, illuminating the whole temple, and by venerating the Lord Buddha with much respect, that God, the divine being, said, Lord Buddha, I am Janavasabha. In my previous birth I was the king of Magadha. I was the king Bimbisara. I died as a result of practicing the teachings of yours. I had a birth in the divine world. And Lord Buddha, I am waiting to be a once returner. By this time, when I was dying, I was a stream enterer, and then now I am waiting to be a once returner. I am practicing the teachings to be a once returner. See, dear meritorious friends, when somebody is able to practice the teachings of the Lord Buddha, that brings him the supreme liberation. That leads him to the path. So, dear meritorious friends, it is better to practice the words of the Lord Buddha. It is better to practice the advice of Lord Buddha. Lord Buddha told, give up one thing, root out one thing, then I guarantee you non-returning. Dear disciples, root out the hatred in your mind, I guarantee you non-returning. See, dear meritorious friends, how the teachings of Lord Buddha is so wonderful. The teachings of the Lord Buddha is so wonderful. If somebody practices it diligently, if somebody practices the teachings of the Lord Buddha diligently, definitely he will have the fruit. What is the fruit? The fruit is the supreme liberation. After having the supreme liberation, no aging, no death, no sickness, no lamentation, as there is no furthermore birth. So, when Ajasatta, that king, was giving much pain to the dearest father, that father didn't had any anger in his mind. He didn't develop anger in his mind. Though the son put him in a jail, though the son let him be hungry, though the son stopped bringing food to him, though the son gave much pain by cutting the feet, though the son let him walk on the fire by putting the salt into the wound of the feet, he didn't have anger in his mind, because he knows the teachings of the Buddha, and at that time he practiced the teachings of the Buddha. Therefore, dear meritorious friends, what we have to do is, if somebody follows the teachings of the Lord Buddha, definitely he will have the supreme liberation. But to have the supreme liberation, the person who wishes to have that must follow the teachings very diligently, and he must be honest, and he must be good. He must be good at practicing. Then that person will be able to have the supreme liberation. And dear meritorious friends, I would like to talk about another story where somebody developed loving kindness and rooted out hatred. You know, dear meritorious friends, to root out the hatred in our minds, what we have to do? We have to practice loving kindness meditation, not only for a day, but every day. Whenever is possible, if we can practice loving kindness meditation, and if we can apply the meditation in our day-to-day lives, then it will bring you the happiness, and then it will bring you much merits, and also it will help you to root out the hatred in your mind. When you spread loving kindness to the beings, then the hatred in your mind will be vanishing step by step. So by developing loving kindness, by spreading loving kindness only, somebody can root out the hatred arising in one's mind. So dear meritorious friends, what we have to do is, if we are very fond of entering to the path, if we want to have the happiness, if we would like to have the supreme liberation, then what you have to do is, you have to root out the hatred, and you have to practice the loving kindness meditation. Dear meritorious friends, in the Buddha's time, there was a king called Pasenadi Kosala. He is the king of Kosal, and he had a wife, Queen Samavati. Queen Samavati was with another 500 queens who are helping her, who are attending her. One day, the servant of Samavati, called Kujuttara, as usual, went to bring flowers to those queens. Every day she went to the market and brings flowers. What happened is, the queen is giving her 4 gold coins to bring flowers, but she brings flowers for 2 gold coins and she keeps other 2 for herself. That means she is stealing 2 out of 4. So dear meritorious friends, she did it every day. But one day when she was walking to the flower market, she met a disciple of Lord Buddha, a venerable monk, and she sat down in front of that monk and listened the Dhamma, and she became a stream entrant by hearing the teachings. Then that day she brought flowers for the money given by the Samavati. That day the amount of flowers has become double. The flowers are more. Then Samavati asked Kujuttara, before today you brought half of this, but today you have brought this much of flowers. Kujuttara, are flowers very cheap today? Have you found a new seller? Tell me, have you got a lot of flowers? And then she said, Kujuttara said, dear queen, up to today I did a wrong thing. You gave me 4 gold coins to bring flowers, but I brought flowers only for 2. And I took the other 2 for my use. But after becoming a disciple of Lord Buddha today, after hearing the teachings of the Lord Buddha, I took refuge in Triple Gem, and I observed precepts, and I promised not to steal. Therefore I brought flowers for those 4 gold coins. That is why today there are a lot of flowers. See, by becoming a disciple of Lord Buddha, they stop their bad habits. They stop their bad deeds. They do only meritorious deeds. So it is great to be a disciple of Lord Buddha. So dear meritorious friends, that day Samavati, the queen, told, from today itself you will be giving 8 gold coins, and you have to bring flowers for 4 gold coins, and for the other 4 you have to do a new duty. You have to go to the monks and learn something, and you have to come back to the palace and you have to teach those things to us. Then every day she goes to the flower market and she brings flowers, and also she comes with the teachings of the Lord Buddha. Now, the first day, Samavati told, okay, Kujuttara, today you went to the market and you, as I told, met the teacher, met the disciples and learned something. Please teach us. Then Kujuttara said, the queens, it is not good to teach like this. The person who is preaching Dhamma should be sit on a higher seat, and the people who are listening the teaching should be sit down. And then Queen offered her a seat, and all the queens sat down on the floor with an idea to listen to the teachings of the Lord Buddha. So, dear meritorious friends, that day she taught the teachings of the Lord Buddha for those queens. And by listening to the teachings of the Lord Buddha, they became stream entrants. And every day, this great thing happening in the palace. Every day Kujuttara is going to the flower market. She comes to the palace with flowers along with the teachings of the Lord Buddha, and every day she teaches the teachings of the Lord Buddha to the queens. One day, the queen Magandhya, she is another queen of King Kosala, and she was so angry with this, she was so jealous with Samavati's having. As she is practicing the teachings of the Lord Buddha, Samavati is getting lot of things from the king. King is also appreciating Samavati and her friends every day. So Magandhya was so jealous with that. So Magandhya thought to stop Samavati getting that. What she did was, Magandhya asked some men and asked them to burn the palace where Samavati and her friends are. So when Samavati and the queens were listening to the teachings of the Buddha, which is preaching by Kujuttara that day, those people covered the palace with oiled clothes and burnt the whole palace. Then by that time, Kujuttara and Samavati didn't run away. They developed loving kindness meditation. While they were doing loving kindness meditation, they burnt and became ashes. Can you imagine such a moment? When the body is burnt, they did loving kindness meditation because they are the disciples of Lord Buddha. Though their body is burnt by the fire, that fire couldn't burn the merits and also the status that they have in the path. The fire couldn't burn the stream entranceship the qualities that they have had, though the fire burnt the physical body. The good qualities they have developed in their mind, in their minds, couldn't be burnt. So, dear meritorious friends, when the bodies are burnt, at that time Kujuttara was a non-returner, and also Samavati and others were stream entrants. So after the death, Kujuttara went to the Suddhavasa Brahma world and became a Brahma. And she has only that birth, and from the Brahma world she will pass away and attain the supreme liberation. And dear meritorious friends, the Queen Samavati and her friends had a birth in the divine worlds, and they will be developing the path. They will be having maximum 7 births and attain the supreme liberation. So, dear meritorious friends, as Lord Buddha said, if somebody is able to root out the hatred in the mind, Lord Buddha has guaranteed non-returning. Dear meritorious friends, Kujuttara has rooted out the hatred from the mind perfectly. That is why she became a non-returner. That is why she could be seated when the fire is burning her body, as she knew the reality. She knew that the fire is unable to burn the supreme liberation that she is going to have. The fire is unable to burn the path which is leading to the supreme liberation. And the Samavati and her friends also were developing loving kindness, and they were rooting out the hatred in their minds step by step. That is why they also could be seated there without running here and there, and they could also go to the heavenly world, and they will have only 7 births. After that, they will have the supreme liberation. Dear meritorious friends, see how glorious the teachings of the Lord Buddha is. See how glorious the teachings of the Lord Buddha. It is so great to follow the path. It is so great to hear the teachings of the Lord Buddha. Even by hearing the teachings, our minds become so pleased. Today we are living in a world where everybody is having hatred. Everybody are in hatred. There are wars between countries, there are wars between nations, there are wars between cities. Sometimes there are fightings in the families. Why is that, dear meritorious friends? As we have hatred in the minds. Until we have the hatred, the suffering comes to our lives. After winning the war, can we be happy? No. Though we conquer the whole world, we can't be happy. Though we win the world by a battle, there will be only the suffering. Nobody can be happy because of doing a war, because of fighting, because of hatred. So, dear meritorious friends, today, as we are in a world full of hatred, it is better to follow the teachings of the Lord Buddha. By the war, not only the Muslims, Hindus, Christians, Americans, everybody is killed. For the hatred, there is no a race, there is no a nationality, there is no a religion. But if somebody develops loving kindness, then everybody will be able to have the happiness. So, to have the happiness to the world which is burning with hatred, what we have to do is, everybody must develop loving kindness. Only by developing loving kindness, we are able to root out the hatred in the mind. So, dear meritorious friends, as Lord Buddha said, root out one thing, I guarantee you none returning. Root out hatred, then you can be an unreturner. If you practice the words of the Lord Buddha diligently, you will be able to have the supreme liberation by rooting out the hatred in your mind. May all these merits which we have gathered today will help everybody to root out the hatred in the minds and to enter the path which leads to the supreme liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo Buddhaya.